Are you ready for the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in Just 5 Days challenge? Welcome, welcome. It's day one, our big kickoff. I'm so excited that you are here. Let me know where you're from and who or what you teach. Say hello so I know everyone's here. Hi, I'm Dr. Marnie Ginsberg from Reading Simplified, where we streamline reading instruction and accelerate students' reading achievement. And there is no more quintessential Reading Simplified, efficient, and effective activity than Switch It, which is our guest of honor this week in this Level Up event. So I'm so glad to see folks already popping in, like Crystal and Donna and Julia. Thank you for being here. It's good to hear from all of you. This is our biggest event of the year where we showcase how powerful just one simple activity, Switch It, can be. And I want to invite you to make sure you're signed up to get the full benefits of this 1 week of training, complimentary training from us here at Reading Simplified. So have you signed up yet? Greg, if you could drop the link, readingsimplified.com/level-up-offer, then you will get all the goodies and you'll get access to our Facebook group. Who's coming to us from our Facebook group? Have you already got inside? Have you already gotten the Switch It guide? I'm really excited for you all to be here. Again, because some of you might be coming in late, we are going live to showcase Switch It, the most powerful activity that we know here at Reading Simplified, and we are going to show you how to do it. So I'm so excited that you're here for this Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in just 5 days. I've seen people say, you can't really make a struggling reader look dramatically different in 5 days. Just you wait. You won't believe what is possible with this activity. That's why this is actually, let's see if I can do the math. I think this is our 6th year doing this annually because it's such a big deal. We have over 7,000 people already signed up. Can you believe it? Because this activity is so powerful. But we're also going to keep it short because I know you're busy. Who is busy right here? So this is where we are going to head, okay? I'm going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. This is PD with a promise. So we're going to do 5 days in a row of 30 minutes of PD where you're going to learn something that's research-based but actionable and will help you tomorrow in your classroom or at your home or tutoring spot. So we're going to talk about why are you here and what are you going to get out of this event. We're going to talk about the action steps to participate in the Level Up Challenge. If you haven't already figured out what to do, we're going to make it clear. Then we're going to go look at our star student. So one of the features of this challenge is showing the progression of one child across 5 days in a row with just one activity. I'm not suggesting that one activity is all it takes to learn to read, but it's so powerful we wanted to show you what could happen with just this one activity. And we're going to be challenging you to do the same. So we'll watch our star student and we'll also see what your own star student or star students are going to do. We will be encouraging you and coaching you along the way. Each day we will give a little bit more of a teaching tip so that you can become more and more of a Switch It master, really diagnose what your student needs, and hit instructional match. How does that sound, guys? I'm really excited about this. I'll answer some questions and then we're going to draw a winner. Every day we're going to have a winner from here. If you comment, we'll be selecting a name. Greg's going to pick a name and then we will, I'll do my fun wheel to see which prize you get. But we're also going to have some other prizes if you participate. So who's done their homework for the day? If you don't know, then maybe your colleagues in the community can tell you. If you think this is going to be helpful, have you invited a friend? Maybe you can invite them right now because this is going to be very powerful. First, I want to ask you, why did you sign up? Level up your reader's achievement in just 5 days. What were you looking for? What were you expecting? I bet there's a variety of reasons, but I bet someone's already, Amy, bonus points for Amy. I'm I saw it went by too fast. She invited her colleague. There, it is up there. There we go. Sorry. So kudos to Amy. And Donna Marie invited 2 friends. Extra bonus points there. So I'm looking to see why you signed up. Marianne signed up to help her kindergarten students. Linda to help her grandchildren. And how many of you can relate to this? Andy says, I have some readers who have hit a wall and I want to find something else to try with them. Does that relate? I've been there. I was a struggling 6th grade teacher who had kids reading at the 4th grade level and I did not know what to do. And frankly, there was so much confusion in what I was presented with that I've been working, since I found the answers, I've been working ever since to try to make it more streamlined and simple for us teachers to make a difference for our children. So I want you to think about that. Maybe you have several kids that you're worried about. But if you can just think about right now for about one kid in particular that you're concerned about, what's going to happen to that child if they don't learn to read this year under your watch? And so what do you want for that one child? So just think about one child. Maybe you're not going to put their name, but this is what I want for this child. What's the consequence of this child not learning to read this year? There's so many, right? It's not just academics. So what can you think about that one child that you're concerned about that maybe not up to snuff for the standards of their grade? Liz wants all of hers to feel good about themselves as learners. Amen. You want your student to have the feeling of success. I love that, Heidi. We want, similarly, as Lori says, we want the fear and frustration to go away. We want self-esteem. This is heartbreaking. How many of you have something like this? Susan has a 3rd grader reading 0 words per minute. She wants them to learn to read and open up to the world. So much possibility, right, when we become readers. So that's why you're here, Ayabek. And I promise you, you will see change because of this activity. Switch It is super powerful. You can expect your kids' growth to rocket. And as you learn more and more about the nuances of this activity this week and into the future, you will accelerate them even further. Every year we see profound changes from people who are starting it with their 4-year-olds or 14-year-olds who are struggling. So I'm confident that if you test it out, you will see big success. So that's my little pep talk for you. That's why we're here. But let's get into what is Switch It. So it's just one word work activity that does multiple things simultaneously. And this is part of its power. There's a lot that it accomplishes with little effort. So a lot of reading programs make you isolate everything. Let's teach phonemic awareness or phonological awareness over here. And separately we'll teach letter sound knowledge, maybe letter names and then letter sounds. And then later we're going to teach handwriting. And then later we'll teach, much later, we'll teach decoding. And every sub-skill is isolated and separated or compartmentalized. And so we just stack up more and more and more that we have to do in the limited time that we have. Can I get a witness? Whose reading curriculum looks like this? There's the expectation that if your child is a beginning reader or a struggling reader, you have to teach multiple things in isolation first before they can read and spell. But that's not true. Research has showed us that when things are integrated and connected, they're so much more powerful, they make sense to the child, and they move along more efficiently. So Switch It is kind of like taking all of these things that are in isolation, throwing them out, and replacing it with something that's more efficient. This activity, after you get good at it, will take 5 minutes. That's it. But it'll accomplish all of this. And those of you who have been here, can you give a testimony to that? Deanna likes the idea anyway. Thank you, Deanna. So what is going on with Switch It? So much. Let me show you just these are just the main things that happen with this one activity. First of all, if you have kids that don't get the concept of a word, this will help. If they cannot segment their phonemes, separate the sounds in a word, like hearing the word sat and knowing it's sat, this will help. If they can't do something even harder, phonemic manipulation, like change sat to sit, this will help. More fundamentally, they will get the concept of the alphabetic principle. That is, our written language is code for sounds. This activity makes that very plain. They'll learn left to right tracking. They will learn their letter sounds. You won't believe how quickly the letter sounds will be mastered this way. All along the way, they'll be getting early decoding skills and practicing early spelling. So all of that is wrapped up into that one activity. Does that sound good? Yes, Teresa says, yes, just 5 minutes. So again, here's the typical reading program. Everything is compartmentalized, additive. It just creates a very long lesson, and you really probably can't get it all in. And it's also not as logical to the child because it's disconnected. But reading is actually, it's more integrated. Similar to the way we learn oral language in an integrated way. We listen, we speak. It's not entirely the same for sure, but there's some similarities that learning to read is also accomplished when we integrate all the things that we have to do. The letter sounds and phonemic awareness aren't meant to be isolated components. They were meant to be put together in the context of real print. So if you can save time, then, maybe you can drop some of these things. 15 minutes of phonemic awareness, orally only, in isolation. Just throw that out. I didn't want to hit my dog. So, what could you do if you were able to get rid of some of the excess instruction? What would you do with that time? Susan, she says, awesome, so easy, and it makes sense. What would you do with that time? If you could get just 15 minutes off of your instructional plate. Giving you some time to think about that. Jan would choose to work on handwriting. I love it. That's really important, and it actually is tied with reading fluency and spelling skill. It will feed back into this activity that we're talking about too. Jennifer's making a good point. It will save you planning time. Who's up for that? Sarah's going to read some poetry. Awesome. Victoria, something we've all are regretting. There's not enough playtime for our kinders, right? I love it. Thank you, guys. So Switch It works because our written language is a code for sound. Perception or phonemic awareness is individual. You have to have perception of the individual sounds in words. Those are so-called phonemes that will unlock the code. So what you're going to see in the video soon is how the code is unlocked for this child. He can see the symbols and he's connecting it with the sounds he hears in those words. He's integrating that in his brain, learning how to crack the code by seeing how sounds and symbols line up. Phonemes and graphemes. So that's what the big promise for Switch It is. Now I want to make sure that you're all signed up if you haven't already. You can't get the email daily coaching on what to do and how to post to get the prize unless you go here. If we can have Greg or other volunteers type this in, then you will make sure that you're signed up. That is huge. readingsimplified.com/level-up-offer. Then when you sign up, you'll be directed to go to the Facebook group. This is our Facebook group. Many of you are already in there. Woohoo, thank you. But we want to get you the goodies. So the goodies are in the guide section of the Facebook group. Guides can be kind of hard to find. On your phone, it's in the upper left-hand section of the phone. Tap those 3 hamburger lines to get to guides. Once you get to guides, then you can download your Switch It packet, Switch It guide. This is a sample of the resources that we share with our members inside the Reading Simplified Academy. It will be an overview on the first page that's very colorful, several word lists, and then the letter sound squares. So what I want you to do is print out your Switch It guide and print out letter sound cards. Print out ours, please, unless you already have things where one phoneme is on one tile. Notice how we have here TT, SH, TH, that's all one tile because it's supposed to represent one sound. I don't want you putting T on one, like an alphabet, like a refrigerator magnet, T, and having the student put them together, because we want them to realize from the very earliest stages how our code works. It's a code for sounds. NG is different than N and G by itself. Those are different things. So that's why we recommend using ours. Don't do anything fancy. This is just a really quick thing in the middle of the school year. Test this activity out. Cut these out. Put it on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be laminated. It doesn't have to be on cardstock. Just give it a try. You can always make it spiffy later. But first, we're just testing it. And I'd love for you to pick one student to test it with. Some of you may want to test it with a small group. That's fine, but try not to do it with your whole class yet during this challenge, because the goal is for you to really master Switch It and master the diagnostic thinking that goes along with it. What's powerful about Switch It is not just the activity itself, but the thinking that we share with you about how to keep increasing the difficulty. And that is something that will come more and more natural across the course of the week as we reveal more about how to do Switch It. So it's easier to do that diagnostic thinking when you only have one kid or maybe one small group. So later on you can expand it. All Reading Simplified teachers use it with many, many kids. Maria is excited to do this with her daughter. I love it. So to repeat, if you didn't get it, go sign up here. Make sure you sign up. And then once you sign up, you have access to join our Facebook group. Inside the Facebook group, go to guides. Right here. The guide section, you'll find it here on mobile. Whoops, sorry. You'll find it here on mobile at the upper left-hand corner. So that's all you need to do. And, well, that's the first step. The second step, after you picked your student, is then go to our daily Facebook post, which we will email you every morning. If you've already been registered for this event, you've got it in your email. And if you didn't get it, drag it over into primary inbox. If you sign up today, you'll get tomorrow's and the rest of the week. We'll send you this daily teaching tip. It's the core new idea for the day. Remember, we just keep building across the course of the week. And all you have to do is comment on this post, and you'll be entered to win. Doesn't that sound good? We've got some really sweet prizes. This is not just a simple short PDF. We got some really big goodies from some of my colleagues across the world. So each day, my teammate Greg is going to select a name randomly from those who have commented on the Facebook post, either on our Reading Simplified Facebook page or inside our Level Up group. And we will have a winner. So that's going to be exciting. If you haven't done Switch It yet, then I would love for you to give it a try tomorrow, okay? This is all it is. You pick a list, you get the relevant letter sound cards for that list, and you put those up on the board in scrambled order. Now, I use the back of a dry erase board. It's got wood, and I've just drawn lines with a Sharpie. You can also do this on the back of on the piece of cardstock. Many teachers use dry erase on their tables, just a line for each space. You challenge the student to build the word, for instance, rich. And then you say, you have rich. We're going to need to switch it to make which. Which of these tiles should we move to make rich into which? And hopefully they figure it out. If they don't, you can coach them through it. And then they pull down the letter sound tile and they say woo. And then they check the sounds. Woo, itch, which. That's all there is to Switch It. In the Switch It guide, you will see the procedures. In this guide, you'll see the procedures and also how to give feedback. But we're also going to be exposing you to how to do that across the course of the week. One of the easiest ways to learn how to give feedback is to watch the videos that are about to come up, because I've got a student who has a lot of challenges. And so that means I give them a lot of feedback. And those pieces of feedback that I give are almost universally useful. It's so cool. This activity works for so many different kids, but there's about 3 or 4 things that they're going to do wrong. And so there's only about 3 or 4 things that you have to help them get over that hump. That's how it can be so easily picked up by so many people. And like I said, we've got prizes. So tomorrow's winner from the comments will be the first ABC kit from Claire Wood at the Literacy Hill, formerly known as Tiny Steps Make Big Strides. This is a massive kit, hundreds of pages. It's perfect for anyone in that preschool, kinder, or maybe struggling first grade level. It's got her beautiful artwork and her savvy way of teaching reading, which is really powerfully aligns with our approach here at Reading Simplified. She even includes word chains in her activities, which is what we're doing here. Switch it. And don't forget that on Friday, we'll announce it Saturday, but leading up to Friday, you're going to have the chance to win a grand prize, which won't just be downloadables. It'll also include some decodable books, like these books from Phonic Books, Whole Phonics, card games from Sound Readers, the Crazy Longs, and another thing from the Literacy Hill, the Reading and Writing Toolkit. So all you have to do is post for every day in our homework, and you'll be entered into the drawing to win. Okay, Natasha is so primed. Now for the really good stuff. We've talked about where you're headed, what's the purpose, and we've talked about the logistics of getting into this. But now let's not jibber jabber anymore about housekeeping, right? Let's show the goods. So I'm really excited to show you next our star student. He's going to be our star for this week. What I did with him in 2016 was I did the first Level Up Challenge live. So I just did 5 days in a row with this one boy with just one activity for 8 minutes a day. That's all. So you can see how much it can unlock and how much it packs into just one activity. Again, I'm not suggesting that that's our whole reading program. This is just one of our package that makes Reading Simplified effective. But we do the 5-day challenge just to demonstrate the power of Switch It and to make it easier for you to learn. Now, why did I choose this student? He was a struggling student in kindergarten. He had all the hallmarks of dyslexia. His mother is dyslexic. He didn't know his letter sounds in November of kindergarten. He didn't know how to phonemically segment or blend sounds, again in November of kindergarten. Those are all big red flags that would suggest that he's heading towards a lifetime of struggle with reading. His kindergarten teacher had identified him as needing help, and that's why his mom reached out to me. So what you're going to see is me starting with a beginner. This is his first lesson with Switch It. The day before, all I did was test him, and he knew 7 letter sounds, no vowels. And he could not segment even the first sound in a word, like s and sun. So he was a classic struggler, and you're going to see what Switch It unlocks for him. So we're going to watch a video. It's about 8 minutes of just straight through. I think I only cut really things that were not related to instruction. But this is just 8 minutes that it was live on Facebook, so you can see how a struggling reader might be served with this powerful activity. Today he's going to be having some trouble, but what I want you to see is, what does he learn across the course of the first 8 minutes? He didn't know any short vowels. He didn't know a lot of consonants. He couldn't segment the first sound. Are we closer by the end? Also, I want you to see how I give feedback, because that's going to be what will work for you. All right, here's our star student. Day 1, his first time trying switch it. The first word that I'm going to ask you to build is the word Sam. We're going to focus on is asking him to perceive the sounds that he hears in the word Sam, okay? So what do you hear right here when I say Sam? That's right, that's the letter name, but what sound comes out of my mouth? That's right. Again, because of Facebook, this looks backwards to you guys, but it's left to right as it should be for him. Now let's focus on what's the next sound that you hear in Sam. Well, there is a you know what? Which one of these is an That's ah. This is an Let's put that one down there. So you got the but what sound do we hear right here when I say Sam? You got it. You heard it. That's ah. You're right. And guess what this is?
An A.
It's the A letter name, but also it can be ah. Can you say ah?
Ah.
Real short ah. Very good. Now pull it down and say ah. Ah. So you just built the word Sam. What's the first sound?
S.
You know what? You did it again. You told me the letter name, and you're right. But what? The sound. We're always focused on the letter sound. Is s. Good. Next sound. S. You're right. You're over here though. You skipped ahead. You're too fast for me. What's this one? S. Ah. And the whole word is
Sam.
Can you look at it and not at me now? Look at it. Sam. You made the word Sam. Woohoo! That's a good start. Now we're going to switch from Sam to sad. I hope you're not sad. I'm not sad. I can tell you're not. Okay, we've got Sam, and we need to switch it to sad.
So
We switch one. We're going to actually just take one away. Which one would we take away to make oh, you're right. Get rid of the And what we need it maybe for later. Which sound do you hear in that spot when I said sad? No, I didn't. He said t or t. So I said sad. What sound though is coming out of my mouth when I d? That's right. And which one do you think is d? You got it. Okay, so you just pulled this down that this is d, right? Can you say d? D. Can you tell me the sounds? Ah. D. D. Right. Because are you sad? No, you're not sad. Switch this to had. I had a good time. That's right. Which one?
This one.
Get rid of this. You're so right. What sound goes there? What sound do I say when I say ha? That's right. Which one is ha? Nice. You made the word had. Awesome. Okay, so tell me the sounds. Ha. Ah. D. And the word is had. Okay, so you have had. Let's switch it to hat. Aha. He knew which sound to pull away, which is excellent. And now let's...
we never put this one away.
I think we should, shouldn't we? You're right. Let's do that next. Okay, so you have hat, and we want hat. That's right. So he's got the word hat, and I'm asking him to make it to hot. Are you hot? Are you hot? What sound did you take away? You had hat. What sound was that? Ah. And what sound do you need to make hot? Uh-huh. You've got the first part, the ha, and then can you say that one sound by itself? Hot.
Are we supposed to do the sound or the word?
Perfect. Always the sound with me. But in the middle, I hear ah. Do you hear that in the word hot? So you're thinking about the letter O, but I just want you to hear the sound I'm saying right now. Ah. Ah. Can you say it real loud?
Ah.
Ah, that was it. Good. So he is going to make the word hot, and he needs an ah. Guess which one is ah? You got it. You got the whole thing. Let's do this sound by itself.
Ha.
Well, just by itself. And this. Ah.
Ah.
And the last. Very good. And the word is
Hot.
hot. I'm going to switch it back to hat and then ask you to tell me which one would you take away to make sat. Like I sat in the chair. We have hat. Okay. Now, if we take away the ah in hat, we might still need it in sat. Do you hear the ah in sat? So listen as I say it. We have, oh, you're right. We don't need the huh. What sound do we have here in sat? That's right. Which one is? Pull it down. Very good. So let's check the sounds. Oh, the word is sat. Do you remember? Because he didn't say the last sound yet. So Al, you got it. You nailed it. Sat. You're doing it right. Okay, let's switch it to mat. Like I had to put my feet on the mat. Okay, which one is? Oh, you don't even have. How could you do it? Nope. Here you go. What sound is that? Very good. Let's check mat.
Ah.
And the word is?
Mat.
Woohoo! Nice. Okay. I am going to ask him to do something slightly different because he was introducing himself to the short O, so we're going to move him along. Okay, so you have mat, and I want you to switch it to map, like I use a map to find out where I'm going. Map. That's right, get rid of the t. What sound goes here? Well, it's the word map. Yeah, you got the last sound. Can you say p? Very good. Okay, check each sound. And the last sound? The whole word is map. Map, like I use a map. You're right, there's the and then there's the ah. So we've got the word map. Can you say map?
Map.
What's that last one? You got it. So let's check the sounds. Ah, and the word is map. So this is map. How about we turn it into mop, like I mop the floors? We have a p in mop. So listen right now. We have map. We need to switch it to mop. Well, listen again, and we have a ma. That's the one. What sound do you hear in the middle of ma? What sound is that?
Ma.
That's right. Ma is two sounds, though. Can you tell me this sound by itself after the
Ma.
ah? Can you say ah by itself?
Ah.
Which one is ah? I got a lot of sounds up here for ah. Which one is ah? You found it. Okay, tell me the first sound. Ah.
Ma.
Okay, you're doing a great job with the first part. But listen to the word mop. Oh, that's it. That's the last sound in mop. So let's go back to the beginning and check it. Ah. Well, you did a great job, and you learned how to hear this sound in the middle of words, and you learned how to recognize a few more sounds. So I am so thankful. So the key to this activity is in its that it's more than its parts. So a lot of times we get distracted by really focusing on the letter sounds that a kid can or can't identify. But really, what's even more important is that they can segment the sounds and words, and then they can manipulate the sounds. First word that I'm going to ask you to build is the word. Thank you guys for sharing what you thought about that activity. So it was about 8 minutes. Did he seem to get better? What are some of the things you thought he got better at? Remember, I was promising that you didn't have to do everything in isolation, but you could pack it into one thing. He didn't know many letter sounds. He certainly didn't know short A, and he didn't know short O when we got started. What was he gaining across the 8 minutes? And why was he gaining? Because they were all putting the pieces together. It was something visual for him to link onto, because the abstract phonemes are hard, but there were those lines and there were the letters. That was a visual thing to be like a little Velcro for that abstract phonemic awareness. It was always building real words. Diane pointed out that he's becoming more comfortable. That's huge. Shannon loved watching it. And yeah, Tracy, he remembered the short A. Woohoo! And Sherry is seeing definite improvements by the end. A lot of people are mentioning confidence, sounding out the sounds in the words. He was focused and he was listening carefully. That's going to be to his advantage. He is a super focused child. And even though he has all these dyslexic tendencies, he grows rapidly because he is attentive. He's able to isolate beginning, middle, and end. That's huge. Was he getting the alphabetic principle that our written language is a code for sounds? I don't think he got that before this. That's why things weren't sticking, because the alphabetic principle is really what unlocks the logic of what these squiggles mean. A lot of people are talking about confidence. Awesome. And I want you guys to go back to where we started. You've seen Switch It. Now I want you to think about that one kid that you're thinking about. What is it that you want for her or him? Okay, that's what's bringing you here to this, in the evening for most of us in North America, or for those of you watching the replay at some other time. You could be resting, you could be prepping, you could be watching TV, and you all deserve that, to be resting. But you're here because you want to take this short amount of time to make a big impact with your kids. So I'm excited to see what that impact will be. I can almost guarantee that you will see it rapidly if you do these things. So who's ready to see what happens tomorrow? Do you think he's going to improve? I'm excited, and I'm really even more excited to see your progress. So stay tuned, share your results, go give Switch It a try, and I look forward to next evenings to see you all. Here's to making great readers.